of John. And we're in this section in John where people want proof. They want proof that Jesus is the Messiah. Why are you holding us in suspense? Why don't you just tell us? Tell us. Are you the Messiah? You keep saying these really strange phrases. The Father and I are one. Whoever believes in the Father believes in me. Whoever sends, the Father sends, I send in his name. And you know what? Would you just tell us? Are you the Messiah? Are you? Because we're getting really tired of this. And I always love Jesus' response to folks like that. Well, I've told you. I have told you so many times I am parched. You don't believe, you don't understand. Even the sheep understand better than you do. What is right? I always think of a comedian. And he used to smack himself in the forehead. And he'd go, oh! I'm sure Jesus has a soft spot in the middle of his skull. From all the time he's had to go, like, I should stop that. Oh, shit, yeah, go like this. To kind of go, oh! You don't get it. And what even inflames them more is, guess what? He's there at a festival. It's a festival of dedication. We call it Hanukkah. You know, the season of light, the festival of light in the Jewish tradition is usually in December. Very close sometimes, depending on the calendar, to Christmas, a couple weeks before. And he's there because that's a big deal. The festival of dedication is a big deal. Because they're remembering the battle, the revolt of the Maccabees. The Maccabean revolt. And many Jews lost their lives. There were many, many martyrs because of that. But God saved them. God's hand was on them. And there was a number that were saved so they could continue the story, continue the faith. And Jesus is there at that festival. So can you imagine how ticked they really are at the effrontery of Jesus to be making these statements when they gather to remember a battle that took place, and I said the wrong date this morning, it was 167 BCE. So they're celebrating something that happened that many years before. It is important. How dare you? How dare you say that you're the Messiah? We're here remembering all those folks that died because of their faith in God, because of their faith as a Jewish people. And I just love how Jesus treats that. And you stop and think, is it any different standing here in the year 2010? Stop holding us in suspense. Are you the Messiah? Could you just tell us? Are you the Messiah? Can you never stop to think? I always enjoy those couple weeks before Easter with what the world does with Jesus. Because I think Time magazine would fold up and dry up into a dust of cloud if they couldn't put something on the front cover right before Holy Week. Who's Jesus? Who's the real Jesus? And of course, the Time magazine wants to disprove that there's Jesus. It's been like that for how many millennia now? And here you got Jesus on the porch. You're there to enjoy the festival, and they're at him. You know, are you the Messiah? How many times do I have to tell you? We haven't changed. We haven't changed a whole lot. Because there have been how many hundreds of thousands of books written trying to disprove that Jesus is the Son of God. Trying to disprove what John, with every breath in John's body, is always telling us. This is the Son of the living God, Jesus the Christ. It always amazes me that these folks that start out, there's countless stories, countless interviews, countless books written on these folks who started out trying to disprove the person of Jesus. And you know they can't do it. They can't do it. They cannot disprove the person of Jesus, the Son of God, the Messiah. And most of these folks who start out trying to find proof texts that Jesus wasn't the Son of God, wasn't the Messiah, end up being Christians, believing Christians, like Cornelius in the children's story, like the people who gathered around Dorcas, Tabitha, and Paul, who suddenly realizes he cannot slay the Christians anymore. He has to believe because he has personally met Jesus. He knows the Son of God. And as much as we want to say there's